You know that moment when your own teammate literally can't stand watching you play anymore? Well, that's exactly what happened to Angel Reese during the Sky's devastating loss to the Liberty. It was supposed to be just another game, but what unfolded that night on the hardwood between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever ignited a firestorm, one that now threatens to redefine not just two players, but the future of the WNBA itself. Angel Reese, fierce, unapologetic, rising star of the Sky. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom, a generational talent, and the face of a new era in women's basketball. Their collision wasn't just physical, it was cultural, symbolic, and it set off a chain reaction that no one could have predicted. The arena was electric. A sold-out crowd in Indianapolis. Fever fans packing the stands, buzzing for every move Clark made. Tension was already thick. But as the third quarter unfolded, it snapped. Clark drove hard to the basket. Reese stepped up to contest. The contact was sharp, unavoidable. Clark was whistled for a flagrant foul, and Reese hit the hardwood hard. But it wasn't the fall that turned this moment into a national headline, it was what came after. Reese rose from the floor with fire in her eyes. Her stare locked on Clark. Her body language, aggressive, unfiltered. Words were exchanged. Tensions flared. Teammates stepped in. Officials separated them. But the damage had been done. Boos rained down from the Indiana crowd, cascading over Reese like a tidal wave. The noise wasn't just loud, it was pointed, emotional. And as cameras zoomed in, capturing every frame of the unfolding drama, a storyline began to form. It wasn't long before social media erupted. Viral clips flooded TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. One narrative claimed Indiana fans had crossed a line, hurling racially charged insults at Reese. Another insisted Reese's conduct was unprofessional, unsportsmanlike. Truth and speculation blended into one combustible narrative. Within hours, the WNBA issued a rare, swift statement. The WNBA strongly condemns racism, hate, and any form of discriminatory behavior. A formal investigation was launched. But the league wasn't alone in taking action. Behind closed doors, the Chicago Sky organization held emergency meetings. Tensions weren't just boiling on the court, they were spilling into locker rooms, media cycles, and public discourse. And then the decision came. Angel Reese, suspended indefinitely. Not by the WNBA, but by her own team. According to sources within the Sky organization, the suspension wasn't just about what happened during the game, it was about what came after. Reese's response to the altercation, her reaction to the investigation, her conduct behind the scenes. The franchise, insiders say, was embarrassed not just by the incident, but by how Reese handled it. They believed she'd violated team standards of professionalism on and off the court. And with the league already under intense scrutiny, the Sky made a move that shocked the sports world. No timeline was given. No end date in sight. Reese would need to meet undisclosed behavioral benchmarks to return. Till then, her jersey would hang silent, her minutes gone, her season in limbo. The backlash was immediate. How could the Sky suspend their star player at the peak of the season? Why issue a statement seemingly backing her, only to pull the rug out days later? Critics called it a PR stunt. Others argued it was accountability, damage control disguised as discipline. Some fans demanded transparency. Others demanded justice for both Reese and Clark. ESPN coverage went wall to wall. Analysts clashed on live television. Was the punishment too harsh? Is this really about basketball or something much deeper? Segment after segment dissected every second of footage, every post-game tweet, every facial expression. Stephen A. Smith, Chiney, Ewick, Monica McNutt, their voices joined the storm. Meanwhile, the WNBA, riding the biggest wave of attention it had ever seen, was facing an existential moment. Clark had catapulted the league into mainstream headlines. Her arrival sent ratings soaring. Every game she played drew record audiences. Every shot, every highlight went viral. And Angel Reese, she was supposed to be her greatest foil. Her rival. Her equal. A competitor with swagger, attitude, and legacy. The perfect storm of past and future colliding. Instead, that rivalry is now clouded by controversy. The very attention the league had craved was now teetering on the edge. What should have been a triumph of athleticism was turning into a media circus, and the real story, the game, the basketball, was fading into the background. For Reese, the suspension is more than a benching, it's a blow to her rising legacy. After leading LSU to a national title and captivating millions with her unapologetic style, she entered the WNBA with expectations sky high. She was the face of college basketball's new era. She was the embodiment of a generation unafraid to speak out, to be bold, to compete fiercely. Her transition to the pros was supposed to be seamless. But now her future is uncertain. Will she return this season? Will the suspension define her career? Will her relationship with the Sky and the league be the same? Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark continues to ascend. Her performances are historic. Her stats, mind-bending. A triple-double in her fourth professional game, unheard of. Under different circumstances, that would have dominated headlines. Instead, it's a footnote overshadowed by chaos. The Chicago Sky now face the remainder of their schedule without one of their brightest stars. Every loss will raise questions. Every win will prompt speculation. Will pressure mount to reinstate Reese? Will the team fracture under the weight of the moment? And what about the fans? Divided, passionate, angry, inspired. Some stand firmly behind Reese, praising her for refusing to be silenced. Others side with Clark, seeing her as a target in a growing culture war around race, gender, and media portrayal in sports. The narratives are complex, emotional, often contradictory. The truth, as always, likely somewhere in between. But here's what's undeniable. Women's basketball has never been more visible. More talked about. More dissected. The spotlight is intense. The stakes are higher than ever. This moment, this rivalry, has the potential to elevate the WNBA into something truly historic. A league not just followed, but obsessed over. Not just respected, but revered. But only if the narrative returns to the court, where competition, not controversy, defines greatness. Where rivalries are written in baskets, not tweets. In rebounds, not headlines. As the investigation unfolds and Reese's status remains in question, the world watches every game, every update, every soundbite. The future of Angel Reese. The evolution of Caitlin Clark. The soul of the WNBA, all hanging in the balance. This story is far from over. And the next chapter, it promises to be even more explosive than the last.